In your 50s, is that the time to boost up that Roth balance and contribute to the Roth side of your 401k? Or is it better in those peak earning years to make sure you're getting the pre-tax deduction and contribute to the pre-tax side of your 401k? How do you know what's right for you in your 50s? I've got that and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Knowing whether to contribute pre-tax or Roth is one of those quintessential comprehensive financial planning decisions. I say that, I mean there's 6 areas to everyone's financial life. We didn't come up with that. The Certified Financial Planning Board says there's 6 areas to everyone's financial life. And deciding just this simple decision we all get to make during our careers, should we contribute pre-tax or Roth, it's going to touch almost all of those areas. It's going to impact your cash flow because you get the tax deduction, as in you get a higher take home if you do pre-tax versus Roth. So present financial position. Certainly it's going to impact your protection planning in that out there in retirement. If you're drawing dollars out of your pre-tax and it's taxable, could it impact your IRMA or what you pay for your Medicare Part B and Part D? Doing Roth wouldn't factor into that calculation. It's obviously a tax planning decision. Is it better to get that pre-tax deduction today or the tax-free growth? It impacts your investment planning. Typically, you're not going to have, it's not wise to have the exact same investment strategy in both pre-tax and Roth. Sometimes it makes sense to do that, but other times it doesn't. Yes, retirement plan implications, that's the 5th area to everyone's financial life. Is it better to have more of your nest egg growing pre-tax and coming out taxable in retirement when you're in your low income years, or should it be growing tax-free? And then finally, estate planning. If you don't use all of these dollars during your lifetime and they're inherited by your heirs, is it better, what tax bracket will they be in? Is it better for them to inherit dollars where they're not going to pay tax on it? Or are they going to be in a lower tax bracket than you are today, and they should pay the tax instead of you? And that's a quick rundown of how this decision impacts all 6 areas of your financial life. And by the way, once you make this decision, it changes. It changes as your financial picture changes, your tax picture changes, tax laws change. And think about it in your 50s. Does it make sense for you during this home stretch to make sure that you've got tax diversification, you really build up that Roth side? Or, like I said, you're likely in the highest earning years of your life. So is it better to get the deduction right now? How do you decide? Well, the right answer for you is going to depend on working with your certified financial planner, looking at all 6 areas of your financial life. But it's really going to boil down to 2 issues. One, your current tax bracket compared to what you're planning on your tax bracket being out there in retirement. And I don't just mean a guess. So many people think, well, I'll probably be in a lower tax bracket out there in the future, and therefore I'm going to do pre-tax right now. No. Doing the planning and actually looking, what tax bracket will I be in out there in the future? In our planning work, we actually do a mock tax return for every single year of retirement. And that in doing that, we're able to see, well, what tax bracket do we think you're going to be in out there when you're 71 or 73 or 75? So that's the first issue. But then the second is the structure of your current investment accounts. How much do you have in pre-tax? How much do you have in Roth? How much do you have outside of those tax shelters? We call that your tax shelter strategy. So working with your CFP, looking at all 6 areas of your financial life, you're going to analyze those 2 points. What tax bracket are you in today compared to what you expect to be in retirement? And what's your current tax shelter strategy? That will help you know in your 50s whether it's best to contribute to the Roth side of your 401k or continue to get that deduction and contribute pre-tax. All right, let's apply this with a couple real-life planning examples from folks that we work with here at KFG. Earlier on, I was starting to work with a new couple. They didn't have any kids, but they're in their early to mid 50s, and they each made about $100,000. Didn't spend a lot, and so they'd saved up by the time they started working with us about $1.5 million they had set aside for retirement. We built out their retirement plan and all the multi-year tax planning that I mentioned. And in doing so, right now, both making about $100,000, they were contributing pre-tax to their 401ks, but they were still in the 22% tax bracket or in that 3rd tier tax bracket. And really, there weren't enough deductions to get them out of the 22% tax bracket, and they could still have a lot of growth in their income and still stay within that 22% tax bracket. But interestingly enough, with their retirement goals, they were going to work well into their 60s, and their Social Security was going to be a decent amount. Supplementing their Social Security with income from retirement, we saw that, yeah, they were going to be in that third tier or 22% tax bracket in retirement as well. And therefore, we laid out the planning, the pros and cons, and for them, it was best to shift from contributing pre-tax to doing Roth. Part of that was because of their $1.5 million that they currently had set aside for retirement, most of it, and by most, I mean around 1.2, almost 1.3, was already pre-tax, so they didn't have a lot of tax diversification. But then to have the clarity that they were in the 22% tax bracket right now, and we're likely going to be in the 22% tax bracket out there in retirement, especially in those RMD years, post 70, 73, 75, it made sense to say, well, no, let's shift and start building up that Roth side of your 401k so that those dollars, you've got a larger base growing tax-free for your financial life. And when we added in the additional risk of, well, what if something happens to one of you and you go from having a joint tax return to a single tax return, and the increased tax bracket that could bring out there in retirement, it was an easy decision for them shifting to Roth contributions to their 401ks. Contrast that with the second example, another couple, this one in their mid to late 50s, but they've seen their income rise significantly, really since COVID, and their income has risen, but their lifestyle really hasn't. They've been saving a lot more, and we're coming to us looking for direction on what to do with all these extra dollars that they've been saving. What's the right tax shelter strategy? Well, for them, because they were in that 24% tax bracket, that fourth tier really teetering on being into that 32% tax bracket, we looked and said, well, if you continue to live the lifestyle that you're at, out there in retirement, you'll probably be in that 22% tax bracket, and therefore, it seems to make sense to continue to contribute pre-tax and get that deduction right now during these really high income years. In fact, we built out a tax shelter strategy where they were contributing the maximum amount pre-tax to their 401k, and then we combine that with mega backdoor Roths and backdoor Roths and additional contributions to non-retirement accounts above and beyond that, that would be able to grow and have long-term capital gains rates and qualified dividends for a further diversification of their tax shelter strategy out there in retirement. So what's best for you in your 50s? Does it make sense to continue to get that deduction and contribute pre-tax to your 401k, or is it better to build up that tax-free base and contribute to the Roth 401k? Work with your CFP on that. Look at all 6 areas of your financial plan, but compare your current tax bracket to expected tax bracket in retirement, and look at your overall tax shelter strategy. Work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K. WiseMoneyShow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.